and welcome to another episode of the Black and White Thinking Podcast. You are joined by your hosts, Trick and G.
Oh.
How's it going? Tip Top McGee.
Yeah.
Great.
Like that.
Something like that. Alright, how's it actually going?
Alright.
Your voice still didn't... Aye, alright.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm just tired. Long week. Long month. Long year. But yeah, alright. Getting ready for a nice weekend, so... Although I've got loads of work to do still, so that's not going to be fun. Right. What are we talking about today?
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. But,
P. Did.
but not specifically just P. Diddy. What's the title of the podcast? You decided this.
Yeah, decided what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, you said, can we separate? Because you've told me this format is one or the other. So can you separate? What?
Can evolve.
Oh, fancy! Now it's your turn that you want it to evolve and just be simple. After all that time I tried to do it and you were like, no, there's a format, we need to stick to it.
I know, but...
Well, no, anyway, you said, can you separate the art from the artist? So in that sense, we're not just talking about P. Diddy, although that is the majority of what we will be discussing. However, there are lots of examples that we can talk about. And you specific... Like, or do you even know any of his music? I know he played a didgeridoo.
Hey, Rolf?
Yeah, wasn't it Rolf?
He played the wobble board.
Oh, then I'm thinking of someone else that plays the didgeridoo.
No, he did play the didgeridoo as well.
Oh, there you go. The didgeridoo sounds like a euphemism.
Oh, it does. I had there in this. Joking.
Right, anyway, so what... I know you've just said P. Diddy, but what made you want to discuss this? You wanted to talk about it because it's in the news and... Well, we always discuss as well, like, artists, because you know I'm very big on not supporting certain artists because they've done some shady stuff.
Well, now that makes it sound like I support artists who have done bad things.
Well, technically...
Well...
Let's be honest.
If it were solely on me, then I would probably listen to some people's music who might have done some bad things. But you seem to say that that's not okay.
Yep, and I
feel like you're a better human being. So it's probably wise to take your moral compass on such issues as opposed to me just deciding to listen to music by people who have done some messed up things.
Well, I guess then that's where this becomes interesting, because in the past I would have said you can separate the art from the artist, and then, as you've just said, I've made it clear that there are certain people, we don't listen to R. Kelly, we don't listen to Michael Jackson, we don't listen to... Now, that's not even to say that we don't like music, or with Michael Jackson, he was never convicted of anything, but
he was up to no good.
So the reason that I specified him is because with all the P. Diddy stuff, so with people, if you live under a rock and you don't know what's been going on, P. Diddy has been arrested. So not only did the guy that shot Tupac say that P. Diddy paid him to do it, they didn't have enough on him basically to arrest him. So it looks, from what I've seen online, from my perspective, it looks as if they spent years waiting for him to mess up, and he royally has, because I remember, so I love Justin Bieber, of course, but I remember a few years ago people were saying there'll be stuff that comes out about Usher and P. Diddy, but P. Diddy, there's been stuff circulating for years. There's a woman that died that used to be with him, and I've just seen a lot of people say stuff, but again, it's that whole, like, innocent until proven guilty, isn't it?
No. Well, I mean, that's what they say, but...
Yeah, that's what they say.
I mean...
However...
He's clearly guilty.
Yeah, yeah, he looks like they wouldn't have done what they've done if he hadn't been doing some weird stuff.
I mean, I guess I always think, well, why now? Because things happened 20 years ago or more. So why now?
Well, apparently now they can actually touch him because apparently before he was
Yeah,
in terms
but
of his money and lawyers and
no, but
oh yeah, someone's decided
so like,
you're not in favor with us anymore.
I mean, it's not like the US government has a cap on how much it is willing to spend on legal matters.
Mm.
So,
Well, yeah, they've just literally executed a man where everyone said we think we have evidence that might suggest otherwise.
so part of it is like, why have they decided now is the time to prosecute him? Because people have been coming forward for years.
Mm.
Um,
Cassie a few years ago as well, and that was kind of dismissed.
yeah, even long before that.
Mm.
I mean, like even like artists and musicians who have been involved with him have died, and over the years, and it's sort of been like weird circumstances.
Who else?
Well, Biggie
Oh,
for
Biggie, yeah.
one. Sure, there was even talk around the whole Jamie Foxx thing.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
but just all sorts of stuff over the years.
Mm.
But it's like, I mean, he himself was never a particularly good musician.
Mm.
He did have a couple of bangers, and he made some, or like helped launch careers of some people who were really good. So I guess, does that mean, like, say, for example, then, well, I guess like separating the art from the artist. I mean, how many of our favorite rappers have been drug dealers,
Yeah,
and we all seem to think that's okay.
yeah.
So like, I think the separating the art from the artist thing is, it's. I think people just do it as and when it suits them, or when they like, because I mean, like the Rolling Stones and the Beatles in that era were all having relations with children, teenagers, like
Yeah, that's crazy.
young teenagers, and the Rolling Stones still tour to sell out stadiums,
Yeah.
and the Beatles are still massively regarded, and so it's a weird argument to me because I feel like it doesn't really matter if you listen to the music of someone. Like, how does that relate to like their personal life?
That's where I think I'm struggling because, for example, going back to P. Diddy, I saw someone posted about, he talked about the fact that when Rihanna and Chris Brown went through what they did, he,
You mean when he beat her up?
well, yeah, there you go. But apparently, if it wasn't for him, he supported both of them and he was really there for Chris and like helped launch his career again. Which to me, with what you've just said, I believe that listening to those people's music is putting money into their pocket to allow them to keep doing the shady stuff that they do. But where I struggle, or where I'm struggling more now, is there are so many people that are just horrible people. And like you said, is the word subjective? Like if it's your perspective.
Let's say it is.
No, but between being subjective and objective, subjective's the one where that's your opinion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was getting myself confused in my head. But that's where I think it's subjective because for me, for example, I would turn around and go, yeah, whilst I don't agree with someone selling drugs, is that the same as cheating on someone? But that cheating on someone for me comes from the fact that
But
I was cheated on.
One is a crime, and the other isn't.
Beating like your partner, those two are both crimes.
Yeah, but cheating on someone isn't a crime.
Yeah, but cheating on someone's still damaging, hugely damaging.
But arguably, dealing drugs, particularly drugs like heroin and crack cocaine
Oh yeah,
are way more harmful than somebody having an affair.
I don't think I listen to anyone that deals crack cocaine and heroin.
You listen to rap, don't you?
Yes, I'm rap.
So probably
Well, there's no one that I know of, and if there was someone that I knew of, then I suppose in that sense, yes, my opinion would be those are hard drugs, not for me. If you're giving those things to other people, not for me. But you see my point. It is subjective because what I deem as bad, someone else might not deem as bad. Going back to the cheating thing, what I deem as I don't want to support someone that cheats. Like Giveon, I love Giveon's music.
you still
Love.
listen to it.
It's come on a couple of times. Yeah, but that's because we've had the conversation a few times and you've been like, no, but it is. We've had the conversation and you have talked about what we're talking about at the moment. And I have questioned myself. And when it's come on, which is why I can tell you I love his music because I've been reminded that in the last few weeks, I think it's come on at least once. But it still bothered me because I feel like I'm helping.
But why does it matter?
Because I don't want to support bad people.
But you're not really.
But you are.
They don't really make money from you listening to their music.
Yeah, but listening, talking about it, I work in marketing. So if I'm listening to the music, best believe I will be using their music for TikToks, Reels, whatever. The team will be doing the exact same. Every single week we have a check, like we do like a win of the week and have you noticed anything that's trending? So like last week, most of us were like Sabrina Carpenter because we love her. I wouldn't then come up and say, like, none of us ever mentioned like Chris Brown. Me and Ju have been going to McDonald's, for example, but we don't post anything online. I know you don't have anything to do with that, but we don't post anything online showing that. We see the mug that I normally drink from. We don't support the company. I think with a lot of it, there's a fine line and it's very difficult, but I just don't like understanding my perspective of it's not just listening to it and this is my thing as well of like whenever people talk about voting, you might think you're just one person, but then there's 10,000 of you, and before you know it, you're not just one person, you're a collective of people. So if that happens, you're all listening to the same music, you are then promoting that person and making them think that their behaviour is correct.
No.
Because who's stopping them?
What do you mean?
If someone has a bad moral compass but has great music, Chris Brown's a great example. He's still around.
Doesn't have great music.
All right, but a lot of people think
he's a bad guy. So,
but a lot of people think he has great music and ignore the fact that he is not even just a woman beater. Like he just does not have control over himself and likes to get into fights. Is that the type of person that you want to be seen on your screen? Or if we have a child, and then could they come back home one day and they're like, oh my God, I was listening to Chris Brown. I love Chris Brown. Like, are you going to be fine with that?
No, but more so because his music's terrible. And I would feel like if I had a child, I would have raised them better than that.
But let's say you did like his music and our child came home and said, love his music, I want to go to one of his concerts. What are you going to say then?
You'd say, don't do it.
Why?
Because his music's terrible.
No, but
he's a bad guy.
But at this point, you like his music.
I can't imagine that.
Yes, you can. Pretend it's Johnny Cash. And Johnny Cash has...
Arguably a bad guy too.
Well, he cheated, took drugs. I don't think he beat women up.
No.
So, Johnny Cash, Johnny Cash is still alive, has been a wife beater, comes back and says, I love Johnny Cash. I know you loved his music when you were younger. Can we go and see him? I can see your face already.
I would say, let's go.
Whereas I'd be like, absolutely not.
Well, no, because I think that's different than that you're actively putting money in their pocket. Whereas, like, say you've got a Spotify subscription, like you're paying money to Spotify. And most people don't make money from stream.
But I think that's such a cop-out. You're paying Spotify. Because in paying Spotify...
No, you're saying just by listening to it, you're supporting or condoning a particular type of behaviour. But you're not really.
But I'm saying you're supporting... You are technically supporting that behaviour because anything that might help them, for you as one person, is something that allows them to carry on being the way that they are.
What if they're locked up?
Well, if they're locked up, the fact that they're still online, I know you're thinking of.
If they're locked up and they can't access their money,
yeah, that doesn't mean
then
that they'll still have like management and whoever. Because don't forget, these people don't do that shady stuff with no one knowing what's going on.
But if they're locked up, then they're not getting the money.
Someone is, and they might get out one day. Like Bill Cosby, for example. Are you telling me you're going to watch the Cosby Show?
Never liked it anyway.
All right, that's different. But like, he's technically out he is out, not technically, but he's out on a technicality. That doesn't mean all of a sudden that he's a decent person just because he served his time.
But
he didn't say it.
I wouldn't go and see him live.
Yeah, I think.
But would probably still watch one of his old specials.
What?
Yeah.
Why? You literally are. You're given a stream.
But he doesn't benefit from it.
But he does.
Why?
Well, Bill Cosby's out of jail.
Yeah.
And he's getting the money.
What money?
The residuals they still get.
Probably not.
You say that, but you don't know.
So say I go and look up one of the specials and it's on YouTube, but not on like any channel to do with him. How does that benefit him?
Yeah, that doesn't.
And also, that's not me saying his behaviour is okay.
But that's where I then don't get how you can sit, watch and laugh knowing what he's done.
But he's not doing it at the time.
Yeah, he's not doing it at the time.
I'm watching a video of him doing the stuff that he did.
Yeah, I know.
That would be wrong.
I think that goes without saying, yeah. I guess that's where we're different, because I find it really difficult to just forget. My escapism, you've seen my escapism, and when it comes to escapism, we don't agree on what we enjoy, because mine is like really light-hearted, fluffy rubbish. But that's what makes it great. So for me, if the point is to forget and feel happy about whatever I'm watching, knowing I'm watching someone that has done terrible things or is accused of doing terrible things like that, I really struggle with that. I can't separate at that point.
You probably do it more than you realise.
Do what?
Like, consume media or art that's made by people who have done terrible things.
Yeah, I probably do. But I can't do research into absolutely everything that...
Why not?
Well, time.
If that's your code, then surely you should.
I try to, which is why, like, even... You know exactly what I watch.
Like, I just think that consuming media doesn't mean that you condone a behaviour.
Well, I suppose maybe mine also comes from the fact that whilst we are not millionaires and wealthy yet, I also know that the odd likes and comments and whatever do help us and have helped open doors for us already that ultimately maybe might not have happened before that. So I guess maybe, I didn't even realise that, yeah. Maybe that's where mine comes from. I know how powerful a watch a click can be. And given the right team and the right support, those numbers are turned into something else. That is data. So you might think that you're just watching something and it's lighthearted, but that's why some people still, like Chris Brown, he should have been cancelled a long time ago. Now, the cancelling's a different subject because, again,
it's not real.
Yeah, and me and you have talked about that, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that given the right team, it's easy to take someone that still might not be doing great things and make them look a particular way. Like, a lot of our stuff is online. Like, I've been avoiding being online because I can't talk about the things I want to talk about. I can't process the way that I normally do, which is just by jumping on TikTok and talking about it. And that's because I don't curate our pages. I try to be as honest as possible, as frank as possible. But again, that's only a snapshot of maybe one of our days from months ago or one of our days from recently. Whereas these people that have money have teams of people to make them look a particular way. So I very much feel like for the people where you see scandals and you keep supporting them, there's way more to it than just the stuff that we see, in which case I just don't want to be a part of seeing any success from them.
What if you had, say, like a CD that you bought 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and now, or even 30 years ago, and then now we know that they did terrible things? Is it not okay to play that CD?
I wouldn't want to play it because I just couldn't enjoy, even if that CD was at home or the DVD was at home, whatever it was going to be. I just couldn't enjoy knowing I was listening. Like Michael Jackson, we keep going back to this. He was never convicted of anything, but we know he did some shady stuff.
And settled out of court a lot.
There you go, and settled out of court. But again, that's one where I can say that I've not done the research, and by not doing the research, that's me making that decision to then go, I don't fully want to know, but can I listen to his music now, knowing that I don't fully know the story? No, I still can't, because I already know that there's something there. So if it was a CD, I still couldn't. Yeah, I'm surprised at my own moral compass, to be fair.
What about wrestling?
What about wrestling?
You said you used to love wrestling when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Would you watch it now?
What, WWF? Specifically?
WWE?
WWE, sorry, WWE, not WWF. That's the animal one, isn't it? Yeah. WWE, probably not. But then that guy's not there anymore, is he?
But he created it.
Yeah, he created it, but that's still a running business. And a running business where he can be fired, he can be completely removed. If he's completely removed, that's different. If he's still involved, that's different. Would I watch it right now, knowing he might still be involved? No, I wouldn't, because well, we've not sat and watched wrestling anyway.
What about yeah, I didn't have any other examples. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's like, I guess everybody draws the line, their own line at different points. Because I feel like to get famous to the level that some of these people are, you're probably going to have done some dodgy things. I mean, not all, but I guess at that, like say in the 90s, I guess when P. Diddy was on the come up and doing a lot of this stuff, like there were probably so many people involved in music and cinema and whatever, who were all doing the same thing. And like at what, like where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
So like, is it any art or whatever music produced by his record label? Because then you don't listen to Biggie, but also Biggie was a drug dealer, but still regarded as one of the best ever.
Yeah.
They made a movie about him. People still love him. New generations love him.
Yeah, it's true.
But apparently dealing cocaine is okay.
Well, we watched Elvis. And I've never been an Elvis fan. But even looking at that, I was like, well,
Yeah, she was a child when they married.
oh crap, I forgot about that. I'd read about that. How old was she?
I can't remember,
Like
but
15.
something like that.
But not even just that. Well, there you go. That, stealing songs. So that side of it as well, I don't understand. But I do, yeah, I do believe it's subjective. And I think everyone draws their own line. But I do think as consumers, we have to be better. Like maybe it's more difficult with the arts, for example, but with businesses, because I think that attitude of it's hard to separate the product from the thing.
It's really not. It's very, very easy. You just don't think about it.
I can't just not think about it.
Well, you don't think too much about, like, say, for argument's sake, where most of your clothes were probably made.
Oh, I do.
But yeah, you still wear them.
Yeah, wear them because I've bought them, but I've also changed my attitude.
But what? So then, why does that not apply to like music, for example,
Because that's the point that I'm now wiser and I can't ignore like fast fashion. So do you see me going,
or like TVs or phones or whatever?
but the phone was a tactical decision. But again, do you see me buying?
Essentially made by a slave in China.
Yeah, and with all of that, you have.
You're okay with that?
No, I'm not saying I'm okay with that at all. Because the point is, I used to buy iPhones when every year when they came out, I got a new one. And then as you start getting more and more educated, you realize, no, I got the phone because I needed the phone. I looked at buying a second-hand one, and I genuinely spent a lot of time researching.
There's probably a better alternative.
That would have been Android, but even then, that's in a factory.
No, but I'm just saying there could be a better alternative.
Yeah, buying one second-hand.
Well, no, because it's still made by somebody.
Yeah, but the point has to
sweatshop,
be,
effectively.
and I think this is where people get it wrong. I feel like people think they should be perfect in everything, but actually you just have to make better decisions. So, for example, I used to love shopping and would have bought trainers, shoes, whatever. Every once in a while, yes, you do need to buy some of those things, but I try to be more conscious about where I buy them from. Most of the time, it will be secondhand from charity shops. Sometimes it is going direct to the shop. Sometimes it's hand, like the jeans I got from a friend. This I've had for years. I did buy from New Look, but years ago again, I try and like keep my stuff. But does that mean that every decision I make within our home is absolutely perfect? No, it's not. But I know that me and you try to cook as much as we can from home. We're not buying new things all the time. But I think that there's a lot of stuff that we do from an ethical basis of just trying to live as better people. And I think that's where it's, I think, what's my point? My point is people can do little things which surmount to a bigger thing than do nothing because they don't think it's going to affect absolutely anything. Do you know what I mean?
I also think that a lot of the music that you listen to is just made by people who there's a way I would put it if it was just us talking.
I've got an idea.
I mean, they're all just
Soft. But that's also not true.
Whereas,
because I find independent artists, if anything, that's one of my things at the moment, and that's what I love TikTok for at the moment. Because they went into some argument about music that could be used from Universal and whatever else. Because again, those big labels treat the people properly? No, they don't. Like there is a chain to it, and it's difficult. But I do make more of an effort to now try and find independent artists, so that at least if you are going to support someone, it's someone that's going to properly benefit from it and be given a chance, or a chance maybe that they might not have been given before because of the way the world was before.
well, even like So like Joey Diaz,
Hmm.
what do you think about Joey?
Joey doesn't deal drugs now.
No, but he kidnapped the guy
Yeah, but you've
and
told me the story.
did some pretty bad things.
But also, does that mean you don't believe people can change?
No, I do believe that. Do you not believe that?
Yeah, I believe people can change. But
So,
but they have to show you that they want to change.
right, so R. Kelly gets released from prison, says, I've changed my ways.
Well, that's a
And
lie.
he really means it.
No, but you're not going to know that he really means
But
it.
you're not giving him the chance to change.
No, but the chance to change is by how you live day to day and the
so
things that
say
you do.
after he gets out of prison, if he gets out and he lives his life straight down the line, church on Sundays.
That doesn't make you a good person.
No, but all that stuff, gives to charity.
That again doesn't make you a good person.
Lives his life as a good person and does no bad things. Then after this few years, good guy, no issues, starts to make music again.
Yeah, but how many
he's
years?
changed and he's repented and he really, really means it.
But how many years?
What do you mean?
How many years between him being released versus starting to make music again?
Say 5.
No way.
But he's been in prison for, say, 30 years.
And we also know that prison doesn't rehabilitate people.
No, but you're saying about people changing.
Yeah, and I'm saying that we know that the system. Yeah, but we also know in your hypothetical situation, you've also included prison.
No, but
America.
What if somebody does change?
Yes, someone can change, but coming from prison and in America, 5 years is nothing.
No, but he served his time, right? Say he does 25 years.
Yeah.
Right? Comes out the end of it, a new man, totally reformed character, no trafficking people, all that stuff. Puts that behind him. No marrying children like he did. Was it him? He was Aaliyah. He married Aaliyah, or was going to marry Aaliyah.
I think it was him.
None of that goofball stuff he was doing. And then, newsflash, new album, R. Kelly. I mean, he'd probably be, like 80 odd, but still.
But that's where I think that would be so far in the future that he'd be so irrelevant already by then that I probably wouldn't care anyway.
R. Kelly releasing an album after 30 years?
Yeah, or like 80.
That'd be huge news.
Yeah, but I wouldn't care.
No, but...
Like, things would have moved on so much by then that do I want to keep supporting...
But would you listen? If everything about the person suggested they had changed and fully reformed.
I wouldn't listen to the album, but if a song happens to be on, let's say the radio, then I might do. But that's...
Sounds like you should believe in people's ability to change a little more. Maybe be a bit more forgiving, perhaps.
Yeah, but
and not cast the first stone.
But I'm not casting the first stone because they've done it themselves. And my experience, and this is what I love about having a therapist, because she's taught me that I make decisions based off of my own lived past. So from my experience, people don't change.
You just mean your past. So what we were saying there was that you probably would listen to R. Kelly again once he gets out of prison.
No, not that I probably would, because you said I need to be more forgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what I said was I wouldn't listen to his album, but if it happened to be on the radio, then I might listen to him.
And then say, what if somebody who has been convicted of said crimes fully repents and reforms? Does that mean that you can listen to their back catalogue?
I can't lie. I feel like for people like that, if you've been given a chance and you fumbled it that badly, do you deserve a second? I think life. No, because my thing is, like, R. Kelly being released from prison, you go and live your life. You do you. Bill Cosby's released. He's doing whatever he's doing. Do I check in on that? No, I don't, because he's not relevant to me whatsoever. So my thing is, you were given great power, which comes with great responsibility, as we all know. Spider-Man.
Does it?
That power does,
He
yeah.
wasn't. I mean, surely we as the consumers bestow that power on them.
We do.
So you could argue it's our fault.
But that's why I'm also saying that one listen does make a massive difference.
Nah, it doesn't.
But you're proving my point. You're saying it's our fault.
Because people put people like that up on a pedestal and allow them away with things. Whereas if I was in the presence of somebody who was about to marry a 15-year-old girl, I'd be like, yeah, you can't be doing this. I wouldn't go, you do your thing because you're a superstar.
But I still think they still have a responsibility.
I suppose because, like I said, most of the musicians that you like are so boring anyway that it's not really an issue. Whereas I like things that have a little more edge to them.
A lot more edge. But I genuinely do think, like, we all have a responsibility in this world to make the world slightly better.
You could argue that we're already doing that by not behaving in the way that some of these people behave.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So,
but that's why the more power you get, the more you should be responsible, because as mere humans, mere middling, low-class people, well, I guess we'd be classed as middle class, would we? I don't know. But anyway, basically, as people that are doing all right in life, that aren't destitute, just by the little things that we do, or try to do, like the washing, the way it's done, lowered temperatures, by being a little bit more eco-friendly and not being monstrous people, yeah, that is. If there was more that we could do, would we do a bit more? Yeah, we would. Especially now, like, we talk about kids. The more I think about having kids, the more I'm like, what would our kids be born into? You've just got to kind of let them go off into that. So that's why I also care about...
What do you mean?
Like, you're sending your kids out into a world with horrible people.
Most people aren't, though.
Yeah, you can say most people aren't, but that's still the point, that we all have a responsibility to not be horrible people, to just not scare people, not hurt people, not do horrible things, just live your life. And apparently that's too hard for some people.
Yeah, but most people are fine. Statistically speaking, most people are fine.
But then at the other end of the bell curve are some horrific people.
So would you say that listening to or consuming art by somebody who has done terrible things makes you a bad person?
I don't think it makes someone a bad person, but I think that's the time you should ask yourself, like, for me, I know why you would listen to something that I say is questionable.
Like?
Because I know that for you, a lot of things are very black and white. Like you just talked about statistically there. Like, that's how your brain works. Whereas if you were the type of person that didn't carry yourself in that sense, then I would say, like, are you okay? Because I think the reason that these people get away with what they do is because it just takes one person to excuse bad behaviour and go, oh, it wasn't that bad.
You mean, like, say, people of faith who continue to call themselves Catholic, for example?
Yeah.
So by virtue of the fact that they attend a Catholic church and call themselves Catholic, they're condoning the actions of the Catholic Church.
No, not condoning the actions of the Catholic Church.
But you're, in this parlance, you're consuming the media of that organisation who have done horrific things.
But I also actively talk about the fact that, for me, literally I put a post up this week on TikTok talking about me trying to find spirituality again. And the fact that the only reason I'm okay with walking inside the Catholic Church is because my dad has specifically said it is a building. You could be at home, you could be in a place. It's just that that's the place that I've gone to for years and can walk in without feeling stupidly anxious. I tried.
But you could try a different doctrine.
Yeah, I could try a different doctrine, but that also then brings in, like, you know me, my anxiety. I don't know what's going on. And then walking in on my own, like me and you have talked about going, it's like if you said to me, let's go to a different church today, I would not say no to that. Genuinely would not. Because to me, even the fact that you can't prove whether there's a higher power or not, that is something that brings me comfort. We live together. So it's not like I live by the Bible and the church.
You could then say that if I wanted to dig out R. Kelly's seminal album from the mid to late 90s,
Yeah.
and I said, well, it brings me comfort.
But
it reminds me of a happier time.
But as I've just said, I would go to a different church. You can listen to other music. So no. There's literally
it's an album, say, that I already had. I didn't have to buy it. I just popped it into a little CD player. Again, one that I had for years.
Not like you're a grown man, you can do whatever you want, but not around me. And that's always been the deal.
So you wouldn't be happy?
Of course I wouldn't be happy.
Home and I was singing my heart out to a song by one of those people.
No, because even when we've been in the car, I've changed the radio. You know I have. I've changed the radio station, or I've changed the song based off of me just going, oh, it's that person.
Yeah, but also one time you didn't.
Yeah, but there'll be a reason why.
Know who it was.
There you go, because I didn't know who it was. But if I did, yeah, like you were saying, I'm not calling everyone a bad person just because you decide to consume something. For example, like I just said, we've been going to McDonald's. We might not promote it, but we've been going.
I go to McDonald's.
I'm sure I also went recently. But anyway, that's the point. And I bought a mug years ago, historically, that's from Starbucks that I still drink from. And there was a period of time.
You mean also?
Oh, actually, it says Moscow on it, doesn't
Russia?
it? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, there you go. But for a long time, I would never face the mug the other way because that's nothing to do with me.
Yeah, but you owning that mug isn't supporting Russia.
Well, yeah, exactly. But there were people that were saying...
Or condoning what you might deem to be like bad behaviour.
But as you said, people put other people on pedestals, whether you ask for it or not. There are people that look at us and look up to us.
Look up to me.
Excuse you. I started before you came in.
Probably look straight ahead to you.
Yeah. But that's it. So there are people, even on our... So you can imagine, we are not famous. We are not... I wouldn't class us as really influential people. And yet people look to us.
I mean, we're not. Whether you class us or decide to class us that or not.
But some people do. Not. There are enough people that follow us just on our pages. Let's remove my own personal branding. For mine and your brand, there are enough thousands of people. The people would not fit in our house, in the back garden, in the front garden. That means we are influential to some people, and that's quite a lot of people.
Anyway.
So
I feel like in my own mind, I can separate the things.
Yeah, whereas I can't. But like you also said, you also wouldn't go to a concert. You wouldn't actively give these people money. So some people might think my way is too extreme. A stream's a stream. But that's just where I draw my line. So you can separate the art from the artist. And I can't.
I don't know. I suppose so.
Well, that's technically what you said. In a roundabout way. But that's just because of how your brain works, and you are a very black and white person.
Because I guess, like, the artist is different from the person.
Yeah, but those things can sometimes also merge into one.
No, they can.
And they won't know which one's which.
Because, like, say you're listening to music by somebody who did some really messed up things. That's just you listening to the music. That's not you saying what they did is okay.
Yeah, you're not saying what they did is okay, but you are still supporting the person.
You're not, though.
But you're supporting the person by contributing to a statistic that is positive for them. Do you understand my point? A stream's a stream, a view's a view, no matter who you are. Like Matt Rife, for example. Matt Rife, we watched him on a couple of podcasts. I thought, oh, actually, he seems quite funny. He seems all right. Did we watch his stand-up?
No, I don't find him funny.
We were talking about Matt Rife. I feel like did I watch his special on my own?
Don't know.
Or maybe I didn't watch it. Maybe like he got cancelled before I could even watch it. But anyway, for me...
Well, he hasn't been cancelled, anyway.
Well, yeah. In a sense.
No, in no sense.
His numbers were affected.
I mean, they weren't.
They were affected enough.
They weren't.
But but the point there is...
It literally had no effect on his career at all. If anything, it helped it because he got a Netflix deal.
But it did also have an effect on his
touring.
career. Yeah, he's still touring.
So it had no effect on his career.
But I guess that's because I see the negative side of it.
No, but you see people talking about it having had an effect on his career. But in real life and in real terms, cancellation doesn't exist. Like Bill Cosby will still be doing shows and people will still be buying tickets.
Which is wild.
Like Louis C.K. was supposed to have been cancelled. Biggest comedian, one of the biggest comedians in the world still. He was cancelled by people who say he was cancelled. He didn't like him in the first place and he won't go to their shows. So that's like people who don't subscribe to like a YouTube channel going on and leaving a comment saying I'm boycotting your YouTube channel. Well, they weren't subscribed anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. So somebody who doesn't like a particular comedian or artist saying this person's cancelled and I won't be going to their shows, that's not a real thing.
Yeah.
It would be different if everybody in the world over went, yeah, this person's blackballed, we're not having anything to do with him.
Whereas I have seen it where people have, like, someone's had like 20 million followers, let's see. And the reason I brought Matt Rife up is because I would have been someone that would have, at that point, I would have started watching him more and more. And then I was like, well, you're a weird person. Maybe not. But there have been people, when people do collectively decide we are done with someone, I have seen it be done. And I've seen people lose millions of followers overnight.
Yeah, on the internet.
Yeah, but that still has a massive effect.
It doesn't. The internet isn't real.
Yeah, but it's not real. But it's not real to the point where it kind of is.
It's really not.
But, for example, it's not real, and yet us sitting here...
No, but things like somebody being cancelled on the internet, in real life they're not, because it's not an actual thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but what I mean is when someone does something, like Matt Rife doing... Well, fair enough, like his stuff was...
He told a joke.
Yeah,
that some
terrible,
people didn't like.
Terrible jokes. But then we were talking recently about shits and gigs.
It was one joke that some people didn't like.
It wasn't just one joke.
No, it was one joke.
It was not.
It was one joke.
What? No.
It was one joke that people saw online and some people didn't like and decided that they weren't going to engage with this content anymore.
I thought it was more than one
Whereas
joke.
He now has a Netflix special, presumably got paid a ton of money and is still touring.
Yeah, but karma's also a bitch, isn't it?
Be that as it may, the whole cancellation thing, all it really does is to serve people who have decided they don't like a particular person anymore. It makes them feel at ease by saying this person is cancelled, which in their mind means that they no longer exist and no longer have a career, which is nonsense.
Yeah, that is nonsense. Yeah.
So the whole cancellation thing, all it really does is serve the people who buy into the belief that it actually means something when it doesn't. In their minds, they see cancellation as effectively this person wiped off the face of the earth. But that's not the case.
Yeah.
They may lose followers online, but in the real world, people still sell tickets and produce media and that people still consume in their droves. Matt Rife is one example. Other comedians have gone through it. They still tour and sell tickets and make millions of dollars a year. The cancellation is only for the people who buy into that and say that such and such is cancelled. It doesn't mean anything. The likes of P. Diddy getting arrested and whatever else may come of it, people will say, oh, he's been cancelled. But he's like, the music and stuff that he created, it will still be listened to forever.
Yeah.
So even he won't be cancelled.
Yeah. And I guess that's where
So
what I really
real.
meant, yeah, it's not, I agree. And that's where, for me then, I really do mean, I can't separate the art from the artist. Because to me, if I was to say that I was cancelling someone, I actually mean I don't want to consume their stuff anymore. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I wouldn't use the word cancel. To me, it would just be, I don't like that person.
But you probably didn't really have anything to do with it anyway, so again, it makes no difference. Like, how much of Diddy's music were you listening to?
Oh, like P. Diddy.
But again, how much Michael Jackson did you listen to?
Oh, a lot. A lot. I miss, like, I can't lie. He's the one artist where a little part of me understands where you're coming from, because I loved his music, and that was my childhood growing up, like with my family. I could cry, even like I've got so many memories to do with family that just happened to have that music in the background. So for me, not only was it nostalgic, it meant something to me. So yeah. See?
Yeah, I mean, he's well, we'll see what happens with the P. Diddy case, but
Yeah,
I wonder what's going to happen to the 1,000 bottles of baby oil and
lube
or Vaseline or whatever it was.
Wild. 1,000 bottles.
But he could have just stocked up.
Stocked up for what?
When COVID hit.
But do you know what?
Because he could well have had 1,000 rolls of toilet roll.
But I can't lie. I went looking for that massage oil the other day because I was in pain. And I was like, oh, I can't find it. Let me look for the baby oil. And then I thought, I know in the house at some point there were 2 bottles. And I thought even that was excessive to have 2 bottles. And then I did think, and PD had 1,000.
But say he had multiple properties.
No, apparently it was in one property.
In one?
Apparently.
Were they in the attic?
I don't know.
Because there's a difference. Like if they're in the attic and like a box, or they're just everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's true. But either way, we know he's a shady man. He's done some shady stuff, and there are stories behind it.
The thing that I find weird about it is that there's like a focus on the gay stuff.
Yeah.
Which is just, that's weird because if he's a gay man, fine.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what you hear talked about is he was doing gay stuff at parties with other grown men.
Yeah, I can't lie. I don't care about any. Yeah, exactly. Like what? Yeah.
If you don't like it, then just back out of the room.
Yeah.
That you walked in on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it, like you'll hear like podcasters or comedians or people talking about it.
Not me, because I don't consume the same stuff you do,
but there's just like a weird focus on the gay stuff, which doesn't concern me in the slightest.
Yeah.
I would be more concerned with the human trafficking and other sorts of abuse that he was doing to people.
100%.
And I think that's why details like, oh, we had loads of lube. Like, why do we need to know that?
Yeah.
Like, I just find all that sort of stuff weird. It's like,
Yeah, I get you.
there's an attempt to. I feel like that stuff is like unnecessary. Like, it's just a little bit seedy, like unnecessarily seedy or something, because it's like, it's already messed up and it just feels like a weird detail to report.
Yeah.
But I mean, I imagine it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, in terms of the stuff that we hear about it.
Yeah.
So, and I still wonder why now.
Yeah, now's the time.
Like, it seems odd that he's been doing all this awful stuff for years and years. Like, I wasn't a fan anyway.
Could it be that it's just that now they've got enough people coming forwards to be able to also put that case with supporting evidence? Because surely, like, that would be a thing as well. Because I remember when the Cassie stuff came out, like the NDAs and all that type of stuff that they would make them sign.
Or is it that they're like, look at this when something terrible, other things going on
Yeah,
over
that
here.
too. Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's an element of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's distraction from something else that's going on that they don't want us to know about or look at. So they're going to drop this bomb on him now. When really, I mean, let's face it, there was probably sufficient evidence 20 years ago to do this.
Yeah, but evidence and lawyers, you just need a good lawyer. Well, we watched the shows.
Well, no, I know, but I'm just saying there was probably sufficient evidence to get a conviction years ago. So I just think it's strange. Like, what's different now that they decided to swoop on?
Yeah.
I think in terms of him and his own music, I think I wasn't a fan anyway, so it makes little odds to me about not listening to his music. But in terms of like music that he helped create or artists that he helped create, who were probably privy to all of the depravities and different things that were going on. How do you decide?
Well, for like someone like Cassie spoke out, that's how you decide. But it's also not as easy as I do get that, because again, that also took years, and it's people not listening to you. And like, there's so many stories. Ray, who's that? Kesha, like so many women have got bad stories. So I think once it moves to different levels, and it's not just the artist, it does become more difficult. But for the sake of the art and the artist, I think that side of it is a little simpler.
But just think about what was going on before there were camera phones and easy access to video recording equipment.
Yeah, we literally watched the thing the other day where they said that the restaurant still has a no phone policy for celebrities and rich people. Because they get up to, again, she didn't say it like it's they get up to bad stuff, but it does make you wonder, like, what the hell are they doing in a restaurant?
But yeah, I guess to some extent I'll take some moral guidance from your perspective, because I would just listen to those artists who are deemed to be problematic.
But I guess also my moral guidance comes from the fact that you do challenge me. So I feel like a lot of the decisions I make, especially these days, are more informed decisions, and I'm not just doing it for the sake of, oh, that's what everyone else is doing or saying. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I understand myself more, but also between the two of us, like I said, even the fact that I know that there are some artists you would listen to, which I would prefer you not to when I was there, but if you're on your own, do you? That's because I also know who you are as a person. So for me, the discussion is the important thing, because I think for anyone to make any kind of change, good or bad, it starts with a discussion. Well, good anyway, good. It starts with a discussion, and it starts with understanding where people are coming from, because, like we've talked about before, not everything is like, things are complex anyway. So you have to be able to talk about the good and the bad and challenge each other to then be able to go, oh, okay, I get where you're coming from, yeah, and have respect for each other. I think that's it. Fabulous. Great. All right, you want to end it there?
Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. We will see you in 2 weeks. Keep liking, subscribing, doing all the bits that you do. Bye.